Tonight, we're excited to share the proposed mural design for the Commerce Mural at Farmers Market with the goal of getting community input to help the artists and add their finishing touches to the design. But before we get to that, I want to welcome the Department of Arts and Culture Executive Director Crystal Jones, who will kick it off for us tonight.
Well, hi, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad you joined us today to talk about this really important project. And I want to commend our public art division for their work, and also the artists and our nonprofit organizations that are a part of this. And as you'll see, there's been a lot of work done with this design. We're very excited about it. And, thanks again for having your evening here with us. I just wanted to be very short and sweet to say that this community engagement is particularly important to our public art program. And so we're, again, so excited to have you here to give us your feedback on this design. And I also want to thank Councilman Bravo for being here. And so with that, I'm going to just be short and sweet and hand the WebEx over to Councilman Bravo to say a few words. And thank you for joining us, Councilman.
Hi, thanks. I'm really glad to be here. I'm happy to be serving here in District 1, where Market Square is. So I want to thank everybody for joining the Department of Arts and Culture's visual community conversation about this public art mural. Since the 1820s, Market Square has been a place for our residents and our visitors to San Antonio to meet, shop, dine, and dance. And so we're really excited about this opportunity to be able to incorporate some public art there in this area that's so important to our social fabric and has been for so long. So this is your chance to give feedback on the concept design. This has been created by artists in our very own community. And so I won't be able to stay for the whole thing, but we're excited to see the concept as it exists and be able to get everyone's feedback. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to you, Crystal. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Councilman. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to hand it back over to Bianca, who's going to go over our presentation, give you a view of where we've been and where we are, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate it, and thank you, Councilman, as well for being here, for your kind words and your support. So again, we're here tonight to have a community conversation, to look at the design for the Commerce Mural at Farmers Market. I do want to state that the artists are present with us tonight. We have Sonanto Cultural Arts Executive Director Ben Tremillo. We have Cassidy Fritz, who is their public art program coordinator and community mural coordinator as well. And then we have the lead artists, Ashley Garza and Haley Marmolejo. So thank you guys for being here tonight to answer any questions on the mural too. So we'll go ahead and get started. I will stop my video. Okay, so throughout tonight's presentation, you can send questions and comments directly to the Department of Arts and Culture by clicking on the chat icon on the bottom corner of your screen. So make sure that you may have to scroll to where it says to everyone so that we can see your questions and comments. And also, as a friendly reminder, this is a public meeting and it's being recorded. It will be posted on our website following the event. So we appreciate using language that is appropriate for all audiences. And of course, we will do our best to respond to your questions and comments during the discussion portion of this meeting. Okay, so today we're looking at the public art process. Before jumping into the design, we will review the project and its goals, and then we will have a conversation about the design. So as I mentioned, the artists are present, Sonanto is present to answer any questions, and then we will close with our next steps. But first, what is public art? The Department of Arts and Culture defines public art as art in a public place that's been through a public engagement process to determine where the art will be placed, who the artist will be, and what will be the inspirations or themes for the art. Every project is approved by our San Antonio Arts Commission and is managed by a public art project manager like myself, and usually paid with public funds. Every public art project goes through a rigorous process, as we can see here. that includes stakeholder and community engagement and approvals for locations and designs from our Public Art Committee and San Antonio Arts Commission, all before the artwork is fabricated and installed. We celebrate the completion of each project with a dedication ceremony that is open to everyone. And on this slide too, I've emphasized some critical steps in the process where we see the oval shape to illustrate all the checkpoints where we seek community participation and really need it because it drives and shapes the result of the public art project. So right now we're at the stakeholder review where we see the yellow star on the screen, and that includes sharing the design with City Council, with our client departments, and with the community. So your feedback tonight, again, will help the artist put the finishing touches on the design. And for a little bit more information on the project at large, in 2020, the department identified the north-facing wall through community engagement of the farmers market on Commerce Street as the mural's location. So this is part of a much larger project, the Zona Cultural project, which is managed by Public Works, and that includes other capital improvements to the area like seating spaces, widened sidewalks, bike lanes, and plantings, and enhanced pedestrian lighting, and more. All that is managed through Public Works. And support for this project is coming from the 2017 bond, and the goal is to serve, for the mural to serve as a gateway connecting the city's west side to the San Pedro Creek. So just to note, we have more projects in the area, the two nearest being at the I-35 underpass where we have the red star, and gateway sculptures at the Frio and Commerce Street intersection where we're looking at a pair of sculptures, one at the northeast corner and one at the southeast corner. And all of these are to kind of punctuate and build connectivity from the west side to downtown and reverse. The public art scope is to design and install a new mural that will flank the Commerce Street entrance of the farmers market. So when we review the design, please keep in mind that the functioning light fixtures must remain and have been thoughtfully incorporated into the design. As far as the mural's production, it will be painted off-site on a material called polytab, which is very similar to canvas, and will be affixed to the wall like a wallpaper. And it will be clear coated and intended to last at least 25 years. So signage will also be included at the site with a brief description of the mural, and on our website, we will have an extended narrative available to the public as well. So here's the project schedule to give us some context here. We can see we've been working on this project for a couple of years already with the Public Art Committee approving project initiation October 6, 2020. We conducted the first round of community engagement to select the theme, and that was completed in April 2021. And then with artist selection approval from our Public Art Committee and the Arts Commission in May of 2021. Since then, from that point, we started contracting with the artists, began the design, and they recently submitted their design just in the fall in October of 2021, which we then presented to the Historic Design and Review Commission. That was approved in November. And then the concept design was approved by our Public Art Committee in December, on December 7th, 2021. So we're here again, seeking your input and sharing the design, and then we will work with the artists again for any of those finishing touches, and their final design will be approved by March 8th, 2022, so that we can begin fabrication and installation with project completion by fall 2022. So we are working very closely with the Public Works Department, who is doing work in that area as well. So I just want to be clear that, we're all in communication, we're all working on this together, and so that way, we coordinate accordingly. So before we look at the design, it's important to keep in mind the results from community engagement, which really determines the look and feel of all of our public art projects. So one of the questions on the survey, we asked the community to rank the themes that they would be most interested in seeing explored in the art. Overwhelmingly, the history of the role of women and their work at Market Square ranked at #1, with 49% selecting that as their preferred theme. Then we had 46% surveyors selected a bright and colorful color palette, and 43% of viewers want to feel inspired by the design. So to summarize the pie charts that we just saw, results indicate a mural that is bright and colorful is preferred, and thematically the community is interested in the history of the role of women and their work at Market Square. Viewers want to feel inspired by the design. Okay, so now's the moment for the concept design. And we have the mural titled The Spirit Within, designed by lead artists Ashley Garza and Haley Marmolejo, who are contracted through Sananza Cultural Arts. So every aspect of the design was thoughtfully considered, resulting in this fantastical landscape that features allegorical figures and symbols that speak to the history of women at Market Square, from the magical alebrijes to women donning luchador masks and the constellations. Every element that you see serves as a reminder that this location's rich multicultural history, and that it is imbued with feminine connotation. The artists did share a narrative as well, and they stated that historic Market Square has been a playground for creativity and community for centuries. We wanted to interpret this exuberance by making the alebrijes of Market Square come to life, while highlighting women, the history of San Antonio, and the city's multicultural population. The title of this mural speaks to the spirit of hope, love, strength, and resilience that we all embody. So I realize that there is a lot to look at in this composition. You know, it's laden with iconography that we can discuss for hours on end, but out of respect for everyone's time, you know, I can't keep you here all night. I do want to point out some distinct features that can be broken down into these categories. So we have constellations, we have figures, plants, and alebrijes. So I'll talk about them, at least these specific details, a little bit more to give us a better understanding of the much larger composition. So on the far left, for constellations, even the stars are female, where Virgo mirrors the shape of the moon, representing fertility of the earth. You can also see a Payaya native woman reaching into the waters of Yanaguana, or also known as the San Antonio River, as one of their main resources. Her mask represents the water bird, where according to Peyote's song, it said that where there is a water bird, there is water, where there is water, there is life. Second is the seated figure, where we have a young Tejana woman in a traditional Mexican dress and cowgirl boots. She sports a lucha libre mask, a popular item that can be found in Market Square. And although women aren't typically participants in these popular fighting events, presenting her in such a manner speaks to her strength. Then in the third image, we have plants. We have a detail of the agave, which is native to South Texas and Mexican land, symbolizing long life, health, dancing, and fertility. And then lastly, on the far right, we have the alebrije, or hybrid spirit animal of the Nahua culture, and popularized in the early 20th century. We're looking at a winged garza, or water bird, honoring the Payaya creation story of Yanaguana. According to the story, a garza bird flew into a blue hole that was occupied by a panther. The panther chased the water bird out of the hole, and as it flies out, the water from the hole spread from the feathers of its wings and blessed the land with the Yanaguana River. So, as mentioned early on, The goal of this meeting is to provide feedback to the artist so that they can put the finishing touches on the design before it is painted. So I have some questions on the screen here to get us started. One, for example, what components best reflect the theme selected? 2, what part of the design do you enjoy most? 3, what do you consider the most important aspect of this project? And 4, how does the design make you feel? So please feel free to share your input by clicking on the chat icon and selecting everyone. I will be reading your comments and questions aloud, responding to them, or asking the artist to respond as well. So I will go back to the screen with the larger design, and please share your input. We'll take a couple of minutes to let it sink in a little, and we'll get going with the conversation.
It looks to me like the whole wall is going to be covered, whereas in the previous slide, it looked like there were just going to be 2 15 by 40 canvases. So is the entire wall being covered?
Yes, so the entire wall, the mural will span the entire wall. Originally, it was proposed to have the 15 by 40, but it kind of grew with the broad theme as well. So the artist's vision felt it best to cover the whole wall.
I'm glad we did that. I think it's a big improvement.
Thank you. And I'm seeing comments come in as well. I just want to say, I'm reading a comment. This isn't my personal thought. I just want to say that the artist did a beautiful, wonderful design. I love the colors. And another comment, I think the whole wall should be covered. Good. Yes, that is the plan. That is the goal. And another comment too, I am enjoying the paintings. Words that come to mind are whimsical and magical. I think they delivered a beautiful, and strong representation of women with bright and vivid colors. Where did the artist start? I'm curious about the process. Let's see, artist, do you want to comment on your process?
Sure. So we actually started off with a completely different rendering, more like realistic depictions of women. But in that rendering, we also included some alebrijes, and when we got some feedback, the alebrijes were definitely like everybody's favorite part about the mural. So we decided to expand on those alebrijes as well as the plants and the textiles. And it kind of grew from there.
Yeah, we just did a lot of research on the market square and on the women from the past, the chili queens, and we just kind of thought, like, what do we think about when we walk into Market Square? Like, what are the main things that you see? You see alebrijes, you see things that are connected to San Antonio, and that's just what we try to go on that, and try to make sure that we use a lot of colorful images, because that's what San Antonio is about. We're colorful people.
Thank you. I think that's a great response. We have more comments coming in here. So we have comments like, the colors are so vibrant. They make me feel very happy. Good. I enjoy the various aspects of the women's clothes. Can you expand on the different pieces and their significance? For example, the luchador mask and the clothes in detail. That's a good artist question there.
So the woman in the luchador mask and her dress is inspired by a dress I saw for sale in the market, and also the luchador masks are for sale in the market, and it's something you don't typically see women wearing. And so yeah, we thought that it was a cool way to depict a modern contemporary Tejana woman and to show her strength and resilience. And also her cowgirl boots too.
Thank you. And we
And
have
so,
more comments. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
the lady holding the lamp. So all the women aren't. We don't see their faces because they are any woman. They're all of us women. So she could be any kind of woman. So the pattern on her is a pattern, a Middle Eastern pattern, and the mask is like Asian inspired, and I just try to mix cultures up just to show how, multicultural San Antonio is.
Thank you. All right. So the next
Yeah.
comment is, I love how the lighting fixtures are incorporated into the design. Love how the women's let me see. I'm losing my comments here. Okay, let me go. Excuse me. 1 second. Okay, yes, so I love how the lighting fixtures are incorporated into the design. Love how the woman on the far right is holding one. And can you expand on the title and how it's linked to the women in San Antonio?
I do. The title, The Spirit Within Us. So, I mean, Alebrijes didn't start as like a spirit animal. It was just an artist who started making, these like fantastical creatures. But in modern times with Coco, I don't really want to bring, but it's become something that embodies the spirit of us, our own spirit. So I wanted to, since the characters are real feminine, I wanted to like portray the spirit of the woman within each of these animals, and even the women that aren't like, we don't fully know what culture they are, but there's a spirit within them, so that's just how I connected the title with the creatures and all the elements in the mural.
And let's see. So I have another question and comment. It is so very, in all caps, so very beautiful. The only minor suggestion is to take off the eyeball over the doors. How did the artist get the idea and incorporate it? Only because I think it's a trend, the eyeball. So maybe a little bit of clarity on that.
Why? So the eyeball is kind of like an embodiment of the evil eye, which is like a protector of your spirit to keep you guarded from evil. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Thank you. And please keep the feedback coming too. This is, it's very helpful. And, it will be taken into consideration. So we have another comment. I love the eye. Okay. Yes, great. And a question. I love the color palette. What inspired it? Ready, artist?
Well, I guess we were inspired a lot by the colors inside of Market Square and the textiles and things that you find for sale in the market. And also we kind of went with like a nighttime theme, and I think the contrast of the night with the bright colors in the plants and in the animals and the characters was all inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And then as a response to the evil eye, LOL, I forgot about the evil eye. There's another comment. So thank you for clarifying that. And then, so another question, there's opportunities to connect. Oops, I lost it. Comments are popping in here. Okay, there's opportunities to connect this work of art with stories, poetry, and music. Any possibilities of recording the paint in progress? So Ben Thermio, our executive director, did you want to comment on that, on paint in progress or any kind of community events?
Sure. Hi, everybody. First of all, thanks for having us. I think that we, for all of our murals, all the work that we do, we do try to record them either through photographs or some video components. There's a lot of just written narrative that we write about our murals, and we try to keep a track of all the murals, the work that went into them. We have an archive dedicated to just the murals that we've created throughout San Antonio. So each one of those has a story to it, and we try to keep that story, as tight as we can for each of those murals. One of the things that we will do during this process, as Bianca mentioned, we'll be doing some painting off-site, and depending on just the safety and COVID and such, we invite community members to show up to help with paint days. And so we'll invite community members to come in. For those of you who are listening today or see the recording, we'll make those dates available in the future and invite people to come in, whether you have painting experience or not. It really is just about having the experience of being able to paint this mural and to understand kind of the scope of work that our artists go through. And just, if you can see the mural itself, it's huge. I mean, those figures are really, really large. The scope and scale of this work is amazing. So if you can come out to one of our paint days and just kind of see up close what it's like to participate in this, we would love to have people sign up for that. One of the things I did want to talk about too is keeping in mind that this is going on the Market Square. So part of the mural within, the spirit within, is inviting people to look inside of the Market Square and the spirit within the market and the history of the market. That is inviting too, since it's right over the doors of the entrance to the Market Square. Think about the spirit within the Market Square and the people that work there, the vendors and such. And in previous meetings, we've also talked to people about the children's hospital across the street and how just vibrant this is and how inviting it is for kids to see this mural from the hospital and families to participate in this. There's a park across the street, all those things. So I think that it's an amazing piece. It's colorful. It's youthful while also very intricate. There's a very rich element to it. And I think that this is something that will speak to a broad range of people. And I talked a lot, sorry.
You're okay. You're good. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and read through some more comments that have come in. So if we're voting about the eye, not too crazy about it, but I trust the artist. That was one. And the other is, let's see, what will be painted on the rolling metal door that is present when Market Square is closed? And I think that the metal door should be incorporated. Okay, and so presently the plan is for treatment of the walls, and there is no design proposed for the rolling metal door. I'd have to, talk to the artist and see how feasible that might be. That could propose some other challenges. So for today, our focus is on the design for the wall, but it's something that we can think about. So thank you. And then we have an enthusiastic response on the community paint days. Excellent, sign me up. Paint experience. And congratulations to all, and especially the artists. Beautiful work. And then our last comment that I see here is, I think inconspicuous lighting, soft lighting should shine from above so the mural may be seen well at night. So I do want to reiterate that lighting is not part of the public arts scope. Enhanced lighting is something that is being considered by the Public Works Department, so our partner department. Lighting for us includes the pre-existing light fixtures that we see have been incorporated into the design. And let's see, and I also want to expand a little bit more on that in working with Public Works, we know that there's plantings and stuff that are being planned for the area, and we're making sure that this mural will be highly visible and not obscured in any way. So question, I'm worried about keeping up the beauty of the art. How will we keep up with the maintenance? So we do, for our murals specifically, and even our sculptures, we do apply an anti-graffiti coating to the mural, and given the funding support for this project, the art has to last at least 25 years. So maintenance is part of the job of our, with our department, and we do make sure that we plan for that. But this will be protected with an anti-graffiti coating, which will make it much easier to care for in the case of vandalism or, any kind of damage.
I want to expand on that a little bit. And, I was just thinking about Central Library. Right now, I think we just finished repainting it for the third time. And it's just a matter of, out in our sun over years, the paint starts to fade. And these are paintings of Alebrijes. I love the bright colors that really pop, that really represent Alebrije as well. And so I'm just curious about if there's I guess, what kind of research has gone into making sure that the brightness of these colors is going to last. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councilman. So we do have programs where every 10 to 15 years, we do touch up the murals. And it's in our maintenance budgets, and also in working with the artists, we do our due diligence in making sure that we're using materials that are intended to last. And I think I have a comment here. Cassidy Fritz with Sonanta Cultural Arts also wanted to touch on that too.
Yeah, I can expand a little bit more on that. So as we start to develop our materials list, we do make it a point to use high quality materials, especially for our outdoor murals. We'll be using a brand of paint called Nova Paint, most likely, which is created specifically for murals. So this paint is going to be prepared to take on the weather, the sun, all of it. And of course, just like any other paint, it has a life expectancy, but with what Bianca is explaining, it'll be kept up. So we know which colors fade faster, we know which ones will last longer, and we can talk directly to the company and get their advice on those things as well.
If I could just add to that too, this is a north-facing wall. Usually the east and west-facing walls have more direct sunlight throughout the day, which is really the thing that beats up the paintings. Facing north, it's not so bad. The thing that I think is more likely is just traffic. Will all the soot and stuff that comes from the traffic around there will kind of grunge it up a little bit, but the sun is usually the thing that we worry about the most, but a north-facing wall is just naturally protected from that better.
Thank you,
Great point.
and
Thank
then
you.
and just a little bit more info on maintenance and keeping up with our murals too, seeing how, this is located at Market Square. We can work with CCDO to do occasional cleaning. These are all conversations that we hold with our client departments as well. So let's see, I'm checking the chat. I'm not seeing any more comments. Any more comments or questions? This has been a great conversation so far. Oh, here's one more. As a tenant of the farmers market, I'm over the moon with this project. I think the mural is stunning and will be such a beautiful attraction to a much needed and long overdue makeover. Thank you. Thank you very much for that positive feedback there. Let's see. Yes, we did, we did our scoping of the area, and this was just, the largest canvas that we knew we needed to do something here. So thank you. Then if there are no other comments, then I'll go ahead and go to our next steps. And from our councilmen, thank you to the presenters and artists, and for members of the public who provided input. I'm excited to see this project move forward. Thank you, councilmen. I appreciate you being here tonight. So for our next steps, we are here today with our community conversation, and we will have a feedback window open as of today and closing on January 28th, 2022. So I'll share my email on the next slide. You can call me or email me. All of that information will be provided. And so that way artists can begin working on the final design, on those little tweaks. And we should have approvals obtained by March 8th from our Public Art Committee and Arts Commission. Then we will move into fabrication. We'll begin painting, and we'll be sure to communicate with everyone here today too on those community paint days, follow up with you on that. And then we'll have an installation and dedication open to everyone by the fall of 2022. And of course, we will work closely with our Public Works Department on their schedules too. So here is my information, which I will share this with all of the attendees present tonight. So you don't have to commit this to memory, but this will be shared with everyone. So if there are, I'm not seeing any other comments that have come in. And yes, as a reminder, a link to this recording will be posted on our website in the next coming days too. So you can share with your neighbors and friends. We want your feedback. And that is all for tonight. Thank you. We have one last comment. Great work, everyone. Really excited to see neighbors of San Pedro Creek Culture Park. We'll be opening the next segment of the park when this mural is completed. All right, more to come in the area. Thank you so much, everyone. Y'all have a good evening.